Mr. President,
I recognize the senator from Vermont.
first I want to acknowledge my colleagues from Minnesota, Senator Smith and Senator Klobuchar. You have conveyed to us the deep pain and anguish that you feel and that every Minnesotan feels about the shocking shootings that occurred in your state. And this follows on tragedies that occurred before this. And the pain of your community is the pain of this United States Senate. And my deep appreciation, and I know I express that on behalf of all of my colleagues, for you putting this in a human, real perspective. Thank you very much. Second, this is shocking. 2 people got shot for no reason, absolutely no reason. Renee Good, a 37-year-old mom, 3 kids, she was protesting. That officer walked from the back of her car to the side of her car to the front of her car. He shot through the front windshield and then moved to the side and shot 2 shots in the driver's side window. That's what happened. And then Alex Preddy, who was out with his cell phone camera observing what was going on and was shocked, I'm sure, to see that an ICE agent was pushing a woman into the snowbank, and he came over to try to get between them. There was a scuffle. He was in total subjugation by the officers who had him on the ground. He was disarmed, never using, by the way, or even threatening to use the gun that he had legally in his possession. And ICE officers, 2 of them, shot him 10 times. 10 times. That's what happened. And why aren't we all just totally shocked? That's not acceptable. And then that is all done with the authority of the state, with no restraint. And then the Secretary of Homeland Security, who's responsible for the training and the discipline and the mission, blows this off and says these 2 people were domestic terrorists. No accountability, no expression of sadness, no expression of remorse. How is this acceptable to any one of us here? How is that acceptable? And yet what we're hearing when we are saying, let's look into this, let's get some reforms in place that allow our citizens to feel safe, for there to be accountability, we're being told it's too complicated because we've already got a bill and we'll have to divide it. And that means procedural hassles. That means, oh, the House will have to come back. Are we serious? That's called doing your job. It's called accountability. It's called taking responsibility. I want to pay tribute to the people of Minnesota. We're actually having a discussion about inconveniencing House members because they've got to get on a plane and come back if we act to do something that every American knows we should do. Pass the bipartisan bills where we've got 5 bills done and take on the burden of responsibility that we have as a United States Senate to put reforms in an agency that needs reform. And folks in Minnesota, it's 20 degrees below zero. They're out.
What happened in Minnesota has shaken the conscience of the nation. On the Senate floor, raw emotion replaced political talking points as a senator from Vermont delivered a searing account of 2 civilians shot, one of them 10 times by federal officers. This was not a partisan speech. It was a demand for accountability, humanity, and reform. Tonight, we break down exactly what was said, why it matters, and what comes next.
They're out in the streets. They're out protesting peacefully. They're out providing coffee and cocoa and some warm soup to each other so they can get through this. Why are they doing it? You know what? They care about the right of assembly. They care about the First Amendment. They care about their constitutional rights. But the reason they're doing it is they care about each other. That's who they care about. In this United States Senate, our job is to care about every single American. And we have an agency that is totally out of control with a leader that is, I would say it's incompetent. But the cruelty of that remark to dismiss two people, innocent people who died as domestic terrorists, tells me there's not an inkling of acceptance of responsibility that goes with the enormously important job of being Secretary of Homeland Security. So I'm not going to vote and give a blank check where we're not even willing to have a discussion about what the reforms are. And Mr. President, I want to say I know every one of us here are shocked by what happened. This is not a Republican-Democratic deal. This is about seeing two innocent people shot. And they didn't need to be. And one of the things that's so important for us, if we have a family, we live in a community, is to act in a way where the people around us can be confident that we've got their back, that we won't hurt them or harm them, that we notice what their struggles are and we'll try to help. And all of us here have such admiration for law enforcement and the work they do, and it's such an incredibly hard job. But more than anyone else, the people contacting me in Vermont to express their shock at what happened in Minnesota are people in law enforcement. They know the job is hard, but they have accepted the responsibility to be a guardian, to be protective. We can accept our responsibility where we are the 100 people in this country, in this Senate, who have the opportunity to provide some reassurance and safety and confidence to the people each and every one of us represents. So yes, let's do our job. Mr. President, I yield back.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, kindly like, comment, and hit the subscribe button for more political insights.